Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 287 based on novel. So let's start. Master knows this power? Xiao Yan couldn't help whispering when he heard this. After all, the Master of Soul Eater is different from other powerhouses. When he was young, he walked among the 7 realms and went to countless places, so he knew this. This kind of power is also reasonable. It's some friendship. When I was young, I was lucky enough to go to Yinhan Tianbei continent. At that time, I also had a power called Yuanzong, but that Yuanzong was quite strange. They mainly practiced not fighting qi, but formation. Force. At that time, Yuanzong was led by an extremely tyrannical fighting formation master, so their sex position on Beiju was no different from the position of Forge Sword Thunder Valley on Dongju. That's all. The Soul Eater said with a smile. Formation. Battle formation? After Xiao Yang heard Soul Eater's explanation, his heart suddenly warmed up. Obviously, he is also a battle formation master, but he has been cultivating randomly. If someone taught him the real system, I am afraid that my achievements in the formation will be even better, and being able to make the Lord of Soul Eater call it a tyrannical battle formation master, I am afraid that its real strength should not be underestimated. No wonder that little girl has an energy that even I can't see. I'm afraid that is the special energy of the formation. The core inscription of energy and strength. Xiao Yang said with a bit of heat in his heart. Only in this way can he explain the strange strength in her body. Hey, it's none of my business. Since they don't say anything, then I naturally have to abide by the rules here. If you want to know about you, it's up to you. Seeing Xiao Yang's appearance like this, Soul Eater the Lord grinned and went down quietly. Obviously, the Soul Eater Lord knew a lot, but he would not tell Xiao Yang easily. Seeing this, Xiao Yang couldn't help but rolled his eyes and said helplessly to the Soul Eater. It seems that the comparison of the 4 continents has become more interesting this time. Xiao Yang laughed while heating the fire. Now Xiao Yang's body, the existence of Do Qi Do Core and Do Soul, coupled with many Do skills such as Soul Energy, it is difficult to find an opponent at the same level, and even after using all the means, it is not impossible to fight beyond the ranks. But even so, at this time, Xiao Yang's energy, that is, the cultivation of Do Formation Master, was slow. Don't look at Xiao Yang's ability to use 33,000 core inscriptions to condense formations, but only Xiao Yang himself is clear that such a grand core inscription in his hands is not completely volatilized, and seems to have lost most of his energy. Would like to study further against the master. The power of the formations displayed by Do Formation Masters can have unexpected effects in solo or team battles. What Do Formation Masters are famous for in the world is that it has the ability to fight against 100, 1,000, and 10,000. Power. A tyrannical battle formation division is a slaughtering machine that can easily slaughter millions of troops, making people fearful. It seems that the comatose woman and this Yuan Yang have a high status in the Yuan sect. Tomorrow night, we will see if we can knock them out when we get rid of the poison. Xiao Yang couldn't help laughing. The night was silent, and the next day, when the sun was scattered, the early morning also began. Crash. Yuan Xiao and Duan Tianhong, as the leaders of the 2 powerful forces, although they couldn't take action, they were always paying attention to the crisis around them, in order to protect everyone's safety. Brother Du, what's going on? Behind a tree, Duo Tianhong's body was standing on the branches of the tree. At this moment, he was looking into the distance, but his face was gloomy. Look there, it's foggy. Duan Tianhong pointed at the center of the forest, 1,000 meters away, and said slowly, "It's foggy." Seeing this, Yuan Xiao also followed Du Tianhong's direction. This fog is a bit strange, not like ordinary fog. Why don't we rest here for a day before setting off? Duo Tianhong asked. Because the fog was filled with a dangerous smell. This smell was not worth mentioning to me, but it was not worth mentioning to the competitors below. But it is like the power of destruction. That's very good. Yuan Xiao nodded happily after hearing Duan Tianhong's vigilance, because the fog also gave him a sense of crisis. Yuan Xiao could sense that although Du Tianhong's strength was similar to his own, there was an extremely terrifying energy permeating from his body, which shocked Yuan Xiao. Right, brother Yuan. Looking at your traces, it is impressive that you entered the Tianming Mountains ahead of us. According to the speculation of time, I am afraid that you have entered the middle of the mountains. How can you come back to the outer periphery? Duan Tianhong asked tentatively. It's true. My disciple fell into a coma after accidentally ingesting poisonous weeds in the mountain range, and the dangers in the mountain range, so I went back and forth to the periphery. In order to heal the poisoned disciple, I happened to meet Brother Du, so I went with Brother Du and you. It can be regarded as mutual care. Yuan Xiao said sincerely. Is that so? Du and Tianhong said with a slow smile when he heard the words. Since it's all right, then I'll go to the camp to take care of those little guys. If the fog dissipates, I'll see Brother Forging's ward. Yuan Xiao said with his fists folded, and left here after he finished speaking. This mist seems to be emitted by some kind of soul beast. And this Yuan sect, it seems to be the sect of the overlord of Beiju, but now it looks like this, is it in decline, or the sect of the same name? Furthermore, the excuse of poisoning by mistakenly eating poisonous weeds is too absurd. It seems that they are in danger. Xiao Yang, what I can do as the leader is to make you avoid detours, but as for whether you can break the game, I'm afraid it depends on you. As soon as he finished speaking, Du Tianhong also slowly dissipated. A day off. Du and Tianhong had just conveyed these words in the camp, so he went back to the tent to cultivate himself, and no one came to disturb him. At this time, Xiao Yang said. Dad said that there seems to be some strange fog emerging, which not only blocks our vision and perception, but is also quite dangerous, so that's why. Duo Chifei laughed. It's really not easy to enter Tianming Villa. Liu Qing's beautiful eyes shone slightly and said dissatisfiedly. There are not a few strong players in the Four Continents competition this time, and the owner of the valley can only cover our safety, and can't take action until necessary, so this time, we have to rely on us. Yun Qi said softly. Forget it, let's all go back to rest. If there is any tilde I am informing everyone. Xiao Yang said slowly. Everyone heard the words and went back to their tents to recuperate. It's really a weird fog. Xiao Yang got up and left the tent and looked around, but he created a white mist that easily covered most of the mountain range, even the white mist. A strong sense of oppression made Xiao Yang quite uncomfortable. Be vigilant, this fog is probably from some kind of soul beast. The Lord of Soul Eater instructed. Xiao Yang nodded slowly, but he was not in a hurry. Since I can't leave today, I might be able to get some benefits when I look at the poisoned woman in Yuanzhong at night. Everyone in the two camps knew that the emergence of the strange fog prevented them from moving forward, so they went back to their tents and closed their eyes to rest. Time flies, and in a blink of an eye it is night. Come on, you can go back and rest. Beside the bonfire, Xiao Yang happened to be standing alone, thinking about why Yuan Yang didn't come over, and suddenly a soft voice came out. Xiao Yang turned around, but saw a handsome figure. At this time, Du Chifei was wearing a close-fitting dress that perfectly complemented her figure. It was obviously changed to prevaricate the battle. Xiao Yang wanted to refuse, but seeing Du Chifei's determined face, he had no choice but to give up, and got up and headed towards the tent. This guy. Du and Chifei smiled slowly after seeing Xiao Yang's disappearing figure, and then guarded beside the bonfire. Not coming yet. The tent where Xiao Yang was resting stood at the very end of the camp, so it took a few minutes to walk, so Xiao Yang walked gently on the road and couldn't help but muttered in his heart. You can't lie to me. But the injuries on the woman's body are also extremely serious. Xiao Yang muttered as he walked. Wang buzzing. In an instant, a strange wave of waves slowly filled Xiao Yang's feet. It really is the strength of the formation. Xiao Yang was startled at first, and then laughed. With a sound, Yuan Yang's petite body suddenly emerged from the ground. Big brother. Didn't you scare you? Yuan Yang just appeared, and suddenly whispered. Yuan Yang emerged directly from the soil, and if he were an ordinary person, he might be startled, but Xiao Yang made it clear that the core inscription was injected into the soil by Yuan Yang, so it was reasonable for this scene to emerge. It's okay, let's lead the way. Xiao Yang shook his head slowly, then smiled. Yuan Yang nodded happily upon hearing this. Crash. After a while, Xiao Yang and the two rushed into the soil, and then a passage emerged. After a few breaths, the two bodies were shining brightly and returned to the tent. Here, it's a bit interesting. Xiao Yang immediately glanced around and said when he came to this tent. The tent is square, about 10 meters in size. Inside the tent, there is a wooden table and a bed, which is quite simple, but the brutal core inscriptions are all over the tent, which obviously blocks the outside world. And open. This place is already surrounded by my formation, and other people will not come to interfere with us. Yuan Yang's small mouth squirmed, quite complacent. By the way, big brother, come and see my sister. In an instant, Yuan Yang hurried to the bed and said anxiously, I'll take a look. Xiao Yang also walked slowly. Just walking past, Xiao Yang couldn't help but be startled, and what was reflected in Xiao Yang's pupils was a delicate figure, with a low stature and a sluggish smell. Her beautiful eyes were locked, her brows were black, and everyone was lying peacefully. On the bed, the delicate body is like a sleeping beauty. What happened to her? Tell me the truth. Xiao Yang couldn't help but feel a shock after examining it. According to Xiao Yang's investigation, the woman was obviously seriously injured, and then was attacked by the poison, so she fell into a coma. Sister, elder sister. Yuan Yang couldn't help but be surprised when she saw Xiao Yang's sudden seriousness. Elder Yuan Xiao won't let me say. Yuan Yang spoke slowly, with a hint of fear in her voice. Little sister, your sister's injury is extremely special. I'm afraid it will take fire and some special measures to get rid of it. And with your strength, you should have created the strong fire attribute on me. Among all the people here, I am afraid that only I have the means to save her. However, it is necessary to treat the disease with the right medicine, so if Sister Yuan Yang doesn't say the reason, in case there are 3 long and 2 short. Xiao Yang seemed to be hesitating. The heart is still very immature. I said, but you can't tell others. Yuan Yang whispered after hearing Xiao Yang's words so serious. We have just entered the Tianming Mountains. After several days of rushing, we have reached the middle of the mountain, but when my sister went out to fetch water alone, our men and horses broke into the territory of the spirit beasts and were attacked by the spirit beasts. In the end, my sister led the spirit beast away alone. By the time we found my sister, she was already in a coma with poison. But when my sister was in a coma, she had a scroll in her hand. According to Elder Yuan Xiao, it seemed to be a map of a treasure map, but it is now in Elder Yuan Xiao's hands. Yuan Yang said slowly, hidden treasure map. Xiao Yang was shocked when he heard this. At this time, his strength has reached the perfect 2-star Dozian. If he encounters some opportunities, then he will be able to completely advance to the 3-star Dozian in the 4 continents competition. At that time, he will be very sure about the odds of winning the competition. I can rescue your sister, but you have to show me where it is. How about a good deal? Xiao Yang said with a smile. But Yuan Yang seemed to be hesitant to speak. For some reason, she always felt that she was being tricked by Xiao Yang. I can steal that scroll, but you have to take me there with you. Yuan Yanfan's cute little hand clenched slowly and said after a while. This. Xiao Yang didn't know how to reply for a while. Don't worry, I won't hold you on your back, and I also want to see what the treasure map covered by my sister is after all. Yuan Yang smiled. It's a deal. After struggling, Xiao Yang agreed. After all, this girl is only 10 years old, so she's not afraid to put it off. I'm going to get the scroll first, you can save my sister. After Yuan Yang finished speaking, her body suddenly dissipated, so Xiao Yang and the unconscious woman were left behind. You're lucky. Such an intense poison must be slowly dispelled with the combination of strong fire properties and medicinal power. Although your troops have done toxin treatment for you, but it is not complete enough. If you want to completely expel it, I still have to do it. Xiao Yang looked at the unconscious woman in front of him and muttered. Damn, I really can't bear the child and can't get rid of the wolf. I hope that the hidden treasure map will not disappoint me. Not long after, I reluctantly took out a lot of high-level medicine pills from my acceptance ring, and then into the flames. Wong buzzing. The brutal flames suddenly erupted with extremely hot temperature, plus Xiao Yang's neutralization of many medicinal pills. It turned into a colorful liquid, and slowly moved towards the unconscious woman's body. Crash. What? When Xiao Yang forced these antidote liquids into the unconscious woman's body, there was a tyrannical wave on the woman's body, like actively protecting the master, which shocked Xiao Yang quite a bit. The core inscription is more tyrannical than my core inscription. Gulu swallowed, and then Xiao Yang looked at the woman in front of him with some surprise. It seems that this unconscious woman is the most terrifying one among the disciples of Yuanzong. In an instant, as Xiao Yang's pure antidote poured into Chen Ying's body, the black mark on the beautiful eyes also slowly receded. Wong buzzing. After a while, Yuan Yang's petite body was returning to the tent, but at this time, on top of this little guy's pink and tender hands, a sheepskin scroll protected by special power slowly appeared. It was obvious that this little guy was insane, and really took out the treasure map scroll. Never mind. The toxin will be gradually excreted with her breathing, and she will wake up tomorrow. It is simple, but when Xiao Yang used the flame to force the antidote into his body, he was met with great resistance. Although it was suppressed by Xiao Yang in the end, it took a lot of energy. Moreover, Xiao Yang vaguely discovered that this unconscious woman was probably also an extremely tyrannical fighting formation master. Thank you. Seeing the black marks on her sister's eyebrows fade away, Yuan Yang immediately said with watery eyes. It has been several days since her sister was in a coma. As time goes by, the harm of toxins has become more and more tyrannical. Even Yuan Xiao has no way to completely expel the toxins. Being able to get rid of it successfully made Yuan Yang feel good about him. There is still some time before the morning, let's go. Looking at the petite figure in front of him, Xiao Yang opened his mouth, obviously very interested in this treasure map. Well, wait for me to see my sister. Xiao Yang took out the toxins from his sister's body. Yuan Yang was also very grateful. Without any refusal, Yuan Yang made a face at Xiao Yang after a while and ran to the bed. Her small hands lightly stroked the fainting figure, but Xiao Yang did not notice that a strange light passed from Yuan Yang's hand to the fainting figure. Let's go. Let's be quiet, otherwise it will be troublesome if the adults find out. After Yuan Yang finished speaking, with the help of the mystery of the formation, the two left the camp directly. After leaving the camp, the two headed towards the depths of the mountain range, but they found that the strange fog during the day actually weakened a lot in the middle of the night. In the silent forest, the figures of Xiao Yang and Yuan Yang were walking quietly one after the other. Xiao Yang looked around vigilantly, and the dazzling soul power was always ready. If something went wrong, he would immediately respond. Discover. However, as time passed, Xiao Yang discovered something was wrong, because along the way, according to Xiao Yang's perception, the spirit beasts they encountered had skyrocketed from the 1-star fighting immortal rank at the beginning to the 2-star or even 3-star rank. Xiao Yang was quite puzzled. How far is it? As the two figures continued to deepen, Xiao Yang immediately frowned. In the Tianming Mountains, there are dangers everywhere, even if they are on the edge of the mountain. It should be almost there. Yuan Yang gently opened the scroll and said after some speculation, "Bring it to me and have a look." Xiao Yang didn't care about anything else at this time, and directly sucked the scroll over. You. Seeing Xiao Yang's arrogant behavior, Yuan Yang couldn't help but said angrily with a small face. The treasure map just appeared in Xiao Yang's hands, and what caught his eye was a part of the base map in the Tianming Mountains. The end of the trip was just above the treasure map and below a high-hanging cliff. Little ancestor. You've gone the wrong way. I just said that the more you go, the worse it is. Xiao Yang researched and rolled his eyes helplessly. Xiao Yang still trusts Yuan Yang quite a bit. After all, according to the judgment of the Soul Eater, Yuan Zong is a sect with a good style, and naturally he will not do any tricks. Yuan Yang heard the words, and the crimson on her pretty face became even stronger. Come this way, it's almost there. Xiao Yang grabbed the little girl, then his speed skyrocketed, easily piercing the void, and rushing towards the treasure map. It's here. A few minutes later, the figures of Xiao Yang and Yuan Yang also came to the top of a cliff in a branch of a mountain range. Yuan Yang couldn't help but said. Back then, they rescued their sister from the top of the cliff. Don't go there, it's not easy here. In the dark night, Xiao Yang's dazzling soul power was the best means of investigation. Immediately through his soul power, he vaguely sensed that there were some mysterious people lurking in this land. Dude, he immediately grabbed Yuan Yang. What's wrong? Yuan Yang was just about to walk over. After all, the location of the treasure map was descending from this cliff. After being stopped by Xiao Yang, she asked with a puzzled face. Xiao Yang made a slight gesture, and then his eyes became deep. This cliff is the location of the lower treasure map. I am afraid there is a guardian, and Yuan Yang's sister was seriously injured and unconscious here. I am afraid there is another mystery here. With a sound, Xiao Yang and the two hid directly behind the ancient trees outside the top of the cliff, and then a small stone in their hands was shot by Xiao Yang at the ground that was close at hand. Crash! The pebble just appeared 3 meters above the ground, and was immediately crushed into powder by a mysterious force. It's so weird. Xiao Yang frowned, obviously based on the situation just now, there are probably soul beasts guarding here. What should I do now? Yuan Yang was obviously the first to do such a treasure hunt. Seeing the dangerous appearance in front of her, she asked with a look of fear. It seems that I can only pass. Xiao Yang thought about it for a while, and then he wanted to make a move to knock Yuan Yang unconscious and set up a barrier to protect him. Don't dump her, take her over there seems to be something down below that needs her to open. Just when Xiao Yang wanted to leave this guy behind and go alone, the voice of the Soul Eater rang out. Follow me, I have a way. Xiao Yang said softly after thinking for a while. Okay. Yuan Yang said. Boom. After a while behind Xiao Yang, a flame figure made of flames suddenly appeared, and then without any hesitation, attacked the land in front of him suddenly. The terrifying temperature and harsh voice made people tremble, but the next moment, the guy hidden under the ground also surfaced. Bang bang bang! Attacked by Xiao Yang's scorching flames, a huge pit several meters deep suddenly appeared. In the pit, a soul beast was carefully patrolling the surroundings. My good guy, it's actually a golden mouse. It seems that there is really something down here. Xiao Yang's eyes were fixed on the fat giant mouse entrenched in the deep pit, and he laughed. The golden rat is a treasure-hunting soul beast. Its attack power is extremely zero, but it is very good at finding treasures. It turns out that the weirdness here is actually a formation. Looking at the fat mouse, Yuan Yang also said, the scene just now was caused by the formation. But that's not right, it's not this guy. My elder sister was seriously injured and was attacked by poison. Looking at the golden mouse in front of her, Yuan Yang immediately shook her head. The Guardian, I'm afraid it's down there. Go down and have a look. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, he directly drove the golden rat, and then the three of them walked from the top of the cliff and slowly towards the bottom at the same time. Are you sure it's down there? Yuan Yang couldn't help muttering while watching Xiao Yang controlling the golden mouse. As soon as he came to the edge of the cliff, he looked down. It was an endless cliff, and even on the cliff by the cliff, a terrifying aura permeated, which made Yuan Yang couldn't help but feel fear. After all, Yuan Yang is still just a little girl no matter what. Don't worry, I will protect you. Looking at Yuan Yang who was afraid, Xiao Yang said, although he didn't know what the Soul Eater's words meant. Crash. Just as Xiao Yang finished speaking, he immediately pulled out an extremely strong vine from his side, and immediately threw it down, connecting from the cliff to the bottom of the cliff. Then I'll go down. After speaking, Yuan Yang's small face became tense and serious, and after a while, she followed the vines Xiao Yang had prepared in advance and headed down the cliff. Wong buzzing. As the two descended, the golden mouse beside Xiao Yang burst out with an extremely tyrannical resistance, as if trying to escape Xiao Yang's control. Looking at Mijin's reaction, there is indeed a treasure below, but the reaction is so violent. I hope that the Guardian's strength will not be too tyrannical, otherwise it will only return without success. Xiao Yang was entrenched in the air, pulling the vines. He gritted his teeth and said, after all, he had to protect Yuan Yang, so his strength would definitely not be able to exert much. What is this? Such a beautiful flower. Xiao Yang and Yuan Yang walked towards the bottom of the cliff along the vines one after the other. After a while, Yuan Yang stopped descending and stared at him slowly. A spooky flower on the cliff next to it. This flower is budding, and the hole is the size of a palm, but the attractive red color is disturbing. Don't move, this is a poisonous flower. Xiao Yang hurriedly stopped Yuan Yang's actions. Go. It's coming soon. After Xiao Yang stopped Yuan Yang, he was always paying attention to her. It's just that neither Xiao Yang noticed that the strange flower they had just passed by was blooming slowly, and even the red mist drifted down towards the bottom. The mysterious creature at the bottom also wriggled. There really is another mystery at the bottom of the cliff. The two easily came to the bottom of the cliff, and Xiao Yang glanced around and couldn't help but said. The situation at the bottom of the cliff was instantly reflected in Xiao Yang's pupils. The two of them had just landed at the bottom of the cliff and immediately stood on top of a reef, but beside them was a strange circular space surrounded by a strange lake. Surround. This is a lake. Except for the reef under the feet of Xiao Yang and the two of them, there is no other place to stay. Behind the lake, a few hundred meters away from the two of them, there is a cave about Zhongshu, and the cave is quite dark. It was gloomy, and the wind was blowing, and I didn't know where it was going. Follow me for a while, don't run around. Xiao Yang urged. Well, but there seems to be some powerful creature here that makes me feel faintly uneasy. Yuan Yang frowned, her small face was quite pale as an invisible breath suppressed her, and then she stared at the calm water. Golden rat. Immediately, a strange ripple appeared on the surface of the water, and the golden rat on Xiao Yang's body instantly exploded, desperately breaking free from Xiao Yang's control and climbing towards the cliff. Crash. In an instant, the water surface wriggled violently, and then a gigantic creature suddenly appeared. Good guy. It's actually the Gu poison heavenly snake. Xiao Yang's pupils shrank tightly, and then he looked at the big guy in front of him seriously. Gu venomous heavenly snake, this is a special kind of soul beast that lives on poison. Its whole body and even its scales are highly poisonous. If you touch it lightly, it will be highly poisonous, and even its temperament will be extremely violent. The real killing machine among the soul beast. The GU venomous serpent just emerged from under the water surface, and suddenly twisted its huge body, bursting out with a harsh and sharp roar. It was as if he was swearing his own sovereignty. Fire explosion technique. Xiao Yan did not hesitate to look at the menacing GU venomous heavenly serpent. The huge flames directly compressed within his body, and with the help of the skyrocketing speed, he easily moved Yuan Yang over the lake. GU venomous sky snake and snake eyes looked at Xiao Yang and Xiao Yang indifferently, as if they were looking at food. After a while, their bodies skyrocketed and they attacked them directly. He just squirmed and was bathed in green rays of light. When he felt the green rays of light, Xiao Yang couldn't help but secretly startled. Obviously, the power of toxins contained in the green rays of light might be able to kill them easily. Bang bang bang. With the help of the skyrocketing speed, Xiao Yang took Yuan Yang and gently tapped his toes on the surface of the water, avoiding the attack of the GU venomous heavenly serpent. This lake water is poisonous. At the next moment, as Xiao Yang tapped the water with his toes, a strange green light suddenly converged towards Xiao Yang's body from the toes. However, in the Tianming mountain range, the ability to fly and ban air was too limited, which caused Xiao Yang and the two to be helpless for a while. Bang bang bang. Xiao Yang directly protected Yuan Yang with Do Qi, and then threw it towards a protruding rock on the edge of the cliff. You stay here. After Yuan Yang was settled down, Xiao Yang returned to the reef on the water surface. The dazzling flames continued to emerge like a volcano erupting, making this space agitated slightly. Fire. A furious roar resounded through the sky, and the temperature in the entire lake rose suddenly. Seeing this, the GU venomous heavenly snake's green light also weakened a lot. Obviously, snake-like soul beasts are naturally cold, are naturally afraid of flames. Sea of fire. With a low roar, fiery red flames suddenly emerged, and with the power of Xiao Yang's great celestial seed, it easily surrounded the entire lake. Wong buzzing. The strength of the GU venomous heavenly serpent is about the middle stage of the human 3-star battle of immortals, but it was wrapped in Xiao Yang's tyrannical fire attribute, and it was in a hurry for a while, because its intelligence was quite high, and it knew that Xiao Yang was this arrogant. The flame has destructive fluctuations for it. With a sound, GU venomous sky snake didn't dare to hesitate, and went straight into the lake and disappeared. After all, after Xiao Yang used the great heaven seed, his flame power was 4 times that of a normal person. This was not something he could endure. Let's go. Seeing that the GU poisonous serpent was temporarily forced back, Xiao Yang was a little puzzled, but he didn't have time to think. He grabbed Yuan Yang and rushed to the cave behind the lake without stopping. Hee. Damn human, this king has guarded this treasure for hundreds of years. If it hadn't been able to break the seal, where would it be your turn to meddle in? But it doesn't matter, I just use your strength to break this seal. Sooner or later, you will be in my bag. As Xiao Yang and the others poured into the cave, the huge serpent pupils of the vanished GU venomous serpent appeared on the water surface slightly, and then turned into a human man, standing on the water surface. Open your mouth softly. Are you all right? Yuan Yang immediately looked at Xiao Yang, who had an ugly face, and asked with concern just after entering the cave. It's okay. Xiao Yang heard the words, the bright flames gathered at the toes, and then easily forced the green aura back. Although this green aura is highly poisonous, Xiao Yang, as an alchemist, is naturally not afraid of the fire's impressive power. Let's go, this should be the end of the treasure map, go in and have a look. After the wound was healed, Xiao Yang also spoke softly, his eyes became deep, and he looked into the depths of the cave. It's a little weird here. It seems to have an extremely tyrannical force of confinement. Be careful. At this time, Yuan Yang's big watery eyes seemed to penetrate the darkness, looking at the end of the cave and said, yes. Xiao Yang was calm on the surface, but his heart was more or less shocked. After all, he was able to detect many mysteries at a young age. I'm afraid this girl has a lot of secrets. The yin wind roared, and the strange yin wind kept blowing in it, making the two of them shudder. This cave is a little weird. The cave was too dark. Xiao Yang directly pushed the core of the bucket in his body, and the flames that continued far and wide suddenly emerged from the body, and then lined up on the walls around the cave. In some places, there is a rare sound of water droplets. The energy in these water droplets is exactly the same as in the surrounding lakes. After a while, Yuan Yang exclaimed in surprise. What's the matter? Xiao Yang heard this and hurriedly surrounded Yuan Yang. Here, there seems to be an enchantment. I just bumped into it just now. Yuan Yang's little face looked at the dark space in front of her with curiosity, and couldn't help but say, "This." Xiao Yang heard the words, wrapped the power of flame in his palm, and then gently probed into the void in front of him. With a sound, the seemingly transparent space seemed to be isolated by something, and Xiao Yang's palm froze in midair out of thin air. What is the power of the enchantment? Xiao Yang muttered to himself when he noticed this scene. Because Xiao Yang's appearance was extremely strange at this time, and there was nothing blocking them in front of them, but when their bodies moved forward, they were completely blocked by a colorless and transparent force, and they could not move forward at all. Fire! Xiao Yang snorted coldly, preparing to use the dazzling flames to see if he could crack this strange barrier. "Big brother, I have a solution." In an instant, Yuan Yang's small face slowly opened her mouth, and her voice was filled with a proud look. "You!" Xiao Yang had some concerns just now, but the next moment, Yuan Yang's actions made Xiao Yang calm down. Yuan Yang sat down steadily, and then a series of tyrannical core inscriptions continued to emerge from the Nigong Wan in his body, and suddenly filled the entire cave. Strange, this Niz's core inscriptions are clearly less than 30,000, how is it more powerful than my 33,000? Xiao Yang naturally easily noticed the number of Yuan Yang's core inscriptions, and then spoke up. "Go." Nearly 30,000 core inscriptions emerged, directly surrounding Yuan Yang, and then when Yuan Yang gave an order, it immediately formed a huge energy ripple, and whistled away to the mysterious confinement in front of him. Yuan Yang was not too worried, after all, Xiao Yang saved his sister, and the core inscriptions of the Battle Formation Master were the most mysterious existences even in the Great Thousand World, so he did not take much precautions against Xiao Yang. Little do they know that these were all probed by Xiao Yang. Crash! The tyrannical core inscription just came to the side of mysterious imprisonment, and suddenly scattered everywhere, turning into a pool of silver liquid, and then suddenly attached to the void. It turned out to be the gate of forbidden space. No wonder it is so mysterious. In an instant, under Yuan Yang's actions, the mysterious imprisonment in the cave also appeared. Xiao Yang saw that in front of the two of them, a silver stone gate completely sealed the way forward for the two of them. Even above the silver stone gate, ancient and powerful hidden lines quietly emerge. This girl's use of the core inscriptions is much more tyrannical than me. Seeing Yuan Yang easily showing the original shape of the confinement, Xiao Yang smiled helplessly. How could Xiao Yang imagine that a young girl could hide so deeply? The gate of forbidden space. After a while, Xiao Yang asked in confusion. Obviously this was the first time he had heard of this new term. The gate of forbidden space, this is a rare method in the formation. It is to combine the power of space and the formation method, so as to hide the confinement in a special space, and use it as a sealing door to protect some special places. If you want to break this confinement, you can only break it by using the power of the same source to show the original shape. Yuan Yang said. The obscure patterns on the stone gate seem a little difficult. Xiao Yang frowned. Obviously there was no good solution for a while. Hey, I have a way. This kind of confinement, when I was in the sect, I was lucky enough to see it in an ancient book. Suddenly, Yuan Yang opened his mouth. These two guys, surely there is a way. At the same time, a pair of extremely obscure green snake pupils were looming at the drop of water that the two of them passed by, but Xiao Yang and the two did not notice it. After a while, Yuan Yang sat cross-legged directly, the dazzling core inscription and fighting spirit emerged at the same time, and then slowly lingered on top of his body. This is... what a profound formation. Seeing that Yuan Yang's fighting spirit and the core inscriptions were slowly merging together, a strange force that made Xiao Yang feel a little scared slowly emerged from Yuan Yang's body. Go! With a coquettish anger, Yuan Yenyu's hand suddenly changed, and countless complicated handprints were displayed in an instant. Under such complicated handprints, the special power that combines Do Qi and core inscriptions is easily blasted away at the gate of forbidden space. Bang bang bang! Yuan Yang's attack seemed to be soft and weak, but it was easily attached to the door of the forbidden sky. The next moment, the ancient lines on the forbidden sky door were slowly filled with those special liquids. After a while, the ancient lines disappeared without a trace. The next step is to rely on you, big brother. My strength can no longer open this stone gate. After doing all this, Yuan Yang's breath was sluggish, and it was obvious that he had just merged the battle chi and the core inscription, which consumed a lot of power. You rest for a while, then look at me. Xiao Yang smiled at him slowly, a gentle force entered his body, and then waved it casually, a flame of several dozen meters in size, facing the ban. The gate of the sky blasted away. Boom! Shemen lost the protection of the ancient lines, so it became vulnerable and was easily destroyed by Xiao Yang. This is ancient array. The next moment, as the stone gate was completely shattered, the core aspect of the cave also poured into the sight of the two of them. The weak Yuan Yang wanted to take a rest, but her big watery eyes suddenly shrank, staring at the inside, shock. This video will end here.